All right, let's go ahead and do this. So let me show you what we're doing today and then what we're doing tomorrow, what you are doing tomorrow. Okay, so Schoology, our favorite, but even more favorite than that is Edgenuity. I know you love that as well. Okay, let me go to 8th grade math. Dun, 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 dun. Let's go to today's date. We are still in week 2. And guess what? Next week, we're going to be in week 3. And then I'll be able to see you soon. Yay. Maybe. Oh, let me publish this as well. I'm going to open up Friday as well. If you haven't done so, can you please say hi in the chat box and also take attendance on Schoology before you forget. No one's going to remind you tomorrow to take attendance on Schoology, so please make sure you take attendance tomorrow on Schoology. All right, what are we doing today? Attend the hangout. You're here. I love you so much. I truly do. Number 2, submit your attendance. Don't forget. Okay, number 3, after our 20 minutes, because there are a couple things I want to teach you, you're going to get onto Edgenuity, our favorite. You're going to watch Exploring Numbers, Real Numbers, Warm Up, and Instruction. And then you're going to take the notes. And then you're going to submit your notes. Remember how you take your notes again? You're going to click this, download blank copy of the notes. If you have a printer, then you're going to have to submit it, pictures of your work. So just click that, and then you'll have, you can take maybe 4 pages at a time or something. That would be easier. But if you don't have a printer, open your assignment with Cami, which a lot of you did perfectly the last time. Seriously, I'm so proud of you guys. You guys are really stepping it up. And then, so you you type all your notes, whatever it says. And remember, all you're doing for the notes is you are just, if this will load, come on, come on, come on, little one. Okay, all you're doing is you're filling in the blanks. Okay, so like you'll see these empty boxes, like, come on, right here, right here, right here. So there's not too much to write when you have Edgenuity notes. You're just filling in the blank boxes. Okay, and then as soon as you're done, you hit turn in. Okay, that's how you turn in your notes. And then remember how you get there. You are going to log into Edgenuity through LP1. And okay, so this is where you really have to read because now you got a lot of stuff going on. Okay, so it says you're doing Exploring Real Numbers warm up and instruction. So you have to read. Where does it say Exploring Real Numbers? Right here. Exploring Real Numbers warm up and instruction. You're doing both of them. Okay, so guys, you should have done instruction and you should have done quiz. On Monday, I'm going to update the gradebook. The instruction, did you do it? Is it 100 or is it 0 in the gradebook? The quiz, what score did you get? For those of you who need more than 2 retakes because you still didn't pass, email me or message me and I'll give you more retakes. But you got to tell me because I don't know. Okay, so you have, this should have been done so that you can move on to this, the warm up and instruction. So that's what you're doing today when you leave me, okay? Warm up and instruction, or just catching yourself up. You might have to be behind and take this weekend to get caught up. Now, what are we doing tomorrow? I have good news for you. You might not have gotten good news yet today. So let me be the first person to tell you good news. Let's look at the agenda for tomorrow. What does it say? All right. So, oh, you're not going to attend the hangout. I'm going to cross that out. Submit your attendance. Don't forget. Today is a makeup day. What does that mean? I didn't say free day. I said it's a makeup day. Okay, so tomorrow, all you're doing is you're going to make sure that all your Edgenuity lessons are complete and that this past Monday's video, so it wasn't an Edgenuity lesson, it was a video. So go to Monday Schoology, has been watched and submitted. I wrote the gradebook will be updated early next week. So please make sure that you take tomorrow as a makeup day. Please don't say it's not a sleep-in day. It is a makeup day. Okay? So that is what we are doing today and tomorrow. I have to, because I'm recording you guys and I don't want people to see your faces, I can't see your face. I have to cover your faces. So I don't see anything. So if you have a question, please just unmute and shout it out or type it. And then maybe Mr. Tucker, if you can tell or speak up or something. Okay. So again, you do not need to write this down. Okay. You can just sit there and pay attention. And I will have this video uploaded onto Schoology maybe 15 minutes after class ends, and it'll be right underneath today's attendance. So if you were absent or if your, computer lags or you got kicked out, you can always come back and see what you missed. Okay? So today is kind of a review. You don't have to write this down if you don't want to. Okay? Let's talk about numbers. Okay? Because obviously we're in math class. So this is my box of numbers. In numbers, all possible numbers that exist in this world, decimals, fractions, repeating decimals, whole numbers, they're all called real numbers, okay? But real numbers can be separated into two categories, okay? So real numbers, I have rational and I have irrational numbers. Okay, so all numbers are either rational or irrational. So what is an irrational number? We talked about this a little bit the other day. An irrational number is going to be a decimal that keeps going without a pattern. So it just keeps on going over and over and over and over again, like that little Energizer bunny, but there's no pattern to it. So let's take like the square root of 3. Do you see how this decimal, it keeps on going and going and going? You think it stops at the 8, but that's just because your calculator screen is only so big. But it keeps going and there's no pattern. This would be irrational, okay? So it's either a decimal that keeps going without a pattern or it's not. So a rational number then is going to be a fraction, or a decimal that stops, or it repeats or has a pattern, or it's going to be a whole number. Okay, these are all different types of rational numbers. Okay, now let's be a little bit more specific. In rational numbers, you have something called an integer. An integer is basically going to be a whole number, positive or negative. And I'll do examples in a minute. Okay, well, let's be a little bit more specific. Inside integers, what other types of numbers do we have? We have whole numbers. Wait, you might be like, wait, we just said that an integer was a whole number. So then what's a whole number? A whole number technically is just positive. That's it. It's just a positive whole number and 0. I know I'm writing teeny tiny now. Sorry. Okay, let's be one more time, a little bit more specific. What is even more specific than a whole number? It's called a natural number. A natural number is just positive numbers, not 0. So 0 is not included. Okay, so what is an example of a rational number? I wrote down that a rational number is a fraction. So we can say that a rational number, a rational number could be like, I don't know, a fraction, 1/2. It could be a decimal that stops, 7.928, it stops. Or it could be a decimal with a pattern. Okay, 3.24242424242424, or it could be a whole number, -10. It could be negative. So those are all rational examples. Let's be more specific. What is an example of an integer? Well, it's a whole number, positive or negative. -10, +10, any negative or positive whole number. Well, then let's be a little bit more specific. What's an example of a whole number? Just positive numbers. So just 10, just 7, oh, and 0 too. Any positive number, that's a whole number, not negatives. Okay, then what is an example of a natural number? Any of these, but just not 0. Not 0. So anything, just not 0. Okay. Right. Exactly. Okay. So next thing is how to change a decimal to a fraction. How do you change a decimal to a fraction? What you do is you count how many numbers are after your decimal and you add that many zeros. So let's say I have 0.75. Okay, if I want to change that to a fraction, it's 75 on top because that's after my decimal. How many numbers do I count after my decimal? 1, 2. So I add that many zeros with a 1. Well, 75 over 100 can be simplified. No, don't do it in your head. Why don't you just do it in your calculator? So I don't know if you know how to type a fraction in your calculator. you hit alpha, this green button, and then you hit y equals. So if I go alpha, y equals, this types up. So then I just hit enter. Look, I have a little square for the numerator and a little square for the denominator. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. So 75 over 100, hit enter. Oh, it's 3/4. It did all the work for me. I love calculators. Yeah. Okay, so let's do another one. Let's say I have 0.1275. So 1275 is on top. How many zeros do I put on the bottom? How many numbers do I have after my decimal? Any takers? Okay, they say 4. I can't see the screen. Thank you for saying that. They say 4. You add 4 zeros because there's 4 numbers after your decimal, and then you always stick a 1. Okay, that's a big number. I really don't want to have to do that math. Plus, I'm just super lazy today. Okay, so alpha y equals enter. Type it in your calculator. 1275 on top, and then 1, and then with 4 zeros on the bottom. All right, here we go. Dun, 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 dun. 51 over 400. That's my answer. So guys, your calculator will do all the work for you as long as you know how to type it in, okay? Alpha y equals. All right, that's how I change a decimal to a fraction. Now, let's do it a little bit more complicated. Let me show you how to change a repeating decimal to a fraction. If it's a repeating decimal, the rules are kind of changed. So let's say I have 0.5 repeated. I know it's repeated because I see that number on top or that line on top. Okay, so same thing. I have the 5, so I put that on top. But instead of putting a 0 on the bottom, I have to put a 9. So there's one number after my decimal, so I put 19. And that's it. 5/9, I don't know if I can simplify. So why don't I try that in my calculator? 5/9. Oh, that's just 5/9. Silly rabbit. So that's my answer. Okay. So let's try another one. Point, I don't know, 798 repeated. Do you see how the bar covers the 7 and the 9 and the 8? So I know my decimal is actually 0.798, 798, 798, 798. Okay. On top, I have 798. How many nines do I put at the bottom? 3. Whoever said that, thank you. I love you so much. 3 nines at the bottom because there are 3 numbers after the decimal. So remember, put 9s at the bottom if they're repeating, put zeros at the bottom if it's not repeating. Okay, so I really don't want to use my brain. So it's 798 over 999. 266 over 333. So 266 over 3.